Okay, Oscar fans, I am here with three of the greatest Oscarologists in Hollywood, all contributors to Gold Derby. You know Ann Thompson from Indiewire, Pete Hammond from Deadline, Tim Gray from Variety, and I'm Tom O'Neill from Gold Derby. Tim, you launch us off here. It's a crazy year. It's another pandemic year, and I'm lost. Help me figure this one out.
Listen, this would be the blind leading the blind, because I feel like every year is always a little bit different, but a little bit the same. But this year, I do little touches, like not having the Golden Globe Awards, a different method for voting on BAFTA awards, and COVID. I mean, you know, the absence of in-person screenings and in-person conversations, I think, is affecting things. And so, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of surprises on Oscar nomination day, because nobody, I don't think, has a handle on what's really happening.
No, you have the whole thing crazy this year. So many things also you didn't mention have gotten postponed and moved into position for the final Oscar voting, where they normally would have been done, like Critics' Choice Awards, AFI lunch, different kinds of gathering points are all moved now to mid-March. And ironically, the Indie Spirits, which is at the end, has moved earlier. Up. So it's all screwed up in every way.
It's also the box office that we're missing.
Yeah.
We're missing a sense of building momentum and the sense that a certain movie like Belfast is just starting to hit theaters and is doing really well. And of course, the people who are promoting Belfast are going to tell everybody that that's true, and that if it were in theaters, it would be doing really well. But, you know, that's not the same thing. And King Richard here in the United States, and King Richard, I believe, based on how it played, A Telluride would have been a big theatrical hit if it had been in theaters. And it wasn't, and it's missing that buzz that would have come with it. I had the benefit of seeing some of these films in theaters early on in festivals and other places, but I agree with Tim. Right now, it feels very quiet, and it's hard to get to talk to enough people. Do you guys like call them up and ask? What do you do?
I talked to them. I had dinner with a couple of them on Sunday, both of them there, and I got the lay of the land from the way they were thinking. Well, actually, one of them hadn't voted yet and asked me to send my list to him. I did.
I had dinner with a movie star last night. Hello.
Oh,
well,
who's
it doesn't
that?
happen every day, but said movie star had not seen very much at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd seen West. They didn't vote in the nominations phase. They're going to catch up.
Oh, interesting.
The last round.
Of course, the Academy says they've had the highest voting turnout in their history for any vote, which means final vote and things like that. Of course, and I printed that, but you have to look at, well, what do they mean? Because they've doubled their size.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have more members.
Yeah.
So of course they would get more ballots, but yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, in answer to your question, Ann, I don't call up people specifically to say, what are you voting for? But when I talk to people, I'll just say, what have you seen? What did you like?
Yes.
But when there are in-person events, I do the same thing times 10, because you see a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of people I see at events that I wouldn't really call up.
I used to do that. I haven't been going out though, really.
Yeah. No, it's been strange.
There've been weird things.
I've been doing some in-person stuff all of a sudden again, although I all day today I've been doing virtual interviews again. So it's a mix, but I did a screening of Belfast that I moderated on Monday night for SAG. It was for SAG, and it was packed. It was, 280 people at Harmony Gold, and you had Ken Branagh in the cast. And it was like old times, but it was really a different vibe. It's such a different vibe, that in-person vibe, and that excitement that they were playing off of and everything. I mean, after a while, the Zoom stuff gets really old.
There's this divided thing happening this year, very strange. Like, for example, we saw Nomadland in recent years take that lead early on and stay there all year, which rarely happens, but it happened. This year, we have The Power of the Dog took on kind of an early lead, and it seems to still be the front runner at this point. But then we have these things where Kristen Stewart was so far ahead at the Gold Derby prediction set, so far, and all that had to happen is she wasn't on the BAFTA long list. Boom! She crashed.
Well, she wasn't on SAG, which is more significant.
I think it
BAFTA long list had everybody and their mother except for her and Penelope Cruz.
Yeah. And Kristen Stewart's an American playing an English icon. Why would we expect the Brits to go?
They are not going to go for her. They hated Spencer. They didn't, but nobody likes Spencer. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The critics did. It's at 76 on Metacritic. It did fine with the critics.
I liked
and
it.
the critics groups voted for her across the board. A lot of them. It's the guilds that don't like Spencer. It's an art film and it's an acquired taste.
But I agree. I liked the film. But I never bought into this pundit thing about Kristen Stewart, except I guess she's so big on Twitter that the Twitterverse, had her in there and pundits followed along. But I just was, not this year. There's too many great actors.
Still, you don't. Are you saying there's no way Kristen Stewart gets in?
No, I'm not saying that, but I get the same feeling from talking to voters that they don't love that movie.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing.
Yeah, but I'll tell you,
they didn't love Judy either.
Yeah, I think it points up the divide between film Twitter and awards, because I maybe in late December, one of the online pundits tweeted out, my readers want me to handicap the Best Actress race, but it's already done. I mean, nobody could touch Kristen Stewart. And I tweeted in response, I said, look, Film Twitter loves her. Film Twitter announced her the winner, but I'm not sure Academy voters are going to feel that way. I got so many angry tweets. Brian should fire you. You have no business working there. Really,
the
really
whole
passionate.
thing, they do that with Gaga also.
Gaga, definitely.
Their fan base is passionate, but also, the kind of assumptions. For me, West Side Story, I was really kind of surprised at how it did not do well on the BAFTA nominations today.
You have to remember it will. Which categories it is, though. Remember the ones that are juried as well.
Yeah, but
somebody explain BAFTA. I don't understand.
Oh, that. They used everything, including a Ouija board. They had like seven.
You can read the tea leaves. You just have to be careful. Directing is Spielberg is no. Tim, your instincts, I believe, are correct. Spielberg and West Side Story are fragile at best.
Yeah, I do think they probably both will get nominated, but I don't think it's a sure bet. When the film first screened, everybody was proclaiming, this could win Best Picture, and he is likely to win Best Director. But that only lasted a week or two. So it's again, the mood keeps changing. Seriously, when the first photos went out of Lady Gaga and Adam Driver in House of Gucci, Twitter said they're going to win. He's going to win Best Actor.
Driver was a no-show across the board, for all three of his movies.
Well, if you go by Twitter or social media, I just had this experience that I've never had before with social media. Is I happened to interview all three Spider-Men, and I was sitting like in this square I'm in right now in this Zoom, and I had all three Spider-Men here, and they had never done anything together before, and all of a sudden. Last time I checked, like 2 days ago on YouTube, because we posted it on YouTube, it was 2.7 million views.
Yeah.
So if you're going by social media, Kristen Stewart, much as I love you, don't count on it, because I don't think the Spider-Men are getting nominated.
I still think she gave a great performance, Pete.
I do too.
I do.
But some people say it was too honest, like Natalie Portman as Jackie. It was, we don't want to see Jackie drunk. We don't want to see Princess Di
maybe
the dark side.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know that it's too honest, but again, I think, as Ann said earlier, people don't like the film too much. I think this is.
I love the film. I thought it was
this is a great role for her career. It's a great career boost,
Sure.
but but I feel like the script kind of let her down because frankly I got kind of tired of Diana in that movie.
Well, she was great. I think Diana herself, media-wise, right now is overexposed. And
Yeah.
I think when a lot of these groups see Emma Corrin in The Crown, or the one that did it on Broadway in that flop about Diana, the musical.
And there's even a Sundance doc.
Sundance
about
doc.
her.
I think it's just overkill, and it's
Yeah.
very hard to break through in an actress race this year that is really strong and
Yeah.
could go many different ways.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it then, actress. Let's go there. S. Ellie Field notoriously said when they like you, they really, really like you. And 3 years after Glenda Jackson won her first Oscar, she won again. Olivia Colman is back, and it's one of my favorite movies of the year, The Lost Daughter. I was just so moved. And
It could win.
The film could win, or she could win.
She could win.
Yeah, I think so too.
She didn't even get a BAFTA nomination, shockingly.
That's the juries, Pete. It's
Yeah.
the
But
jury.
that's
they threw
also
out a
like-
couple of people.
that's like Pedro Almodovar will never, get Spain's endorsement as their Oscar movie. It's the
He's been
same.
submitted 7 times.
Yeah.
It's okay if they give it to someone else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our odds at Gold Derby, which I don't believe, I'm among those who have Olivia Colman out front, but it's a wish diction, as we like to say. Nicole Kidman is in second place. This is among our experts, by the way. Lady Gaga in third place. That's not going to happen. And then there's this Jessica Chastain factor. And I want you guys to talk about this, because if there's anybody in this town that Hollywood wants so badly to give an Oscar to, it's Jessica Chastain. And it's this big outsized performance. It's this biopic. Can she really do it?
Get in.
I mean, I think she could get nominated. I'm not sure everybody in Hollywood wants to give her an Oscar. I think.
I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah,
I sense it everywhere.
I mean, maybe, but I think. I think she's really good in the film. But the women's category. I mean, again, Penelope Cruz in Parallel
I think
Mothers.
she'll get
She
in.
could sneak in.
I
Yeah,
think
I
she
hope
will.
so. And also Jennifer Hudson in Respect is spectacular. But again, the script kind of lets her down. The script is not as good as she is.
It was a very early release.
Yeah,
as part
yeah.
of it.
I mean, yeah. There's not a lot of the timing has
And
been.
there was the Nat
But we
Geo
have so many
miniseries.
people playing real life people in this category. It's like crazy. And so, the actors tend to love that. They tend to love to watch somebody playing somebody real, which could help Kristen Stewart there too. They know Princess Di. They're looking at Tammy Faye. They're looking at
Nicole Kidman.
They're looking at Aretha Franklin. Playing these kind of roles at SAG. Both actresses that played Aretha Franklin this year are
Yeah.
nominated
Got
at SAG.
nominated. Yeah, I look at the Jessica Chastain role as being somewhat akin to Bombshell, the Charlize Theron, where it's not a question of how good the movie is. It's all about her performance and the makeup and the hair and the costumes and the ways that she crafted something over time. I think it's extraordinary, and I suspect hair and makeup is going to be there for that one too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Who can win Best Actress?
Who can?
Yes, in other words, here's our order at Gold Derby. Olivia Colman, Nicole Kidman, Gaga, Lady Chastain, Kristen Stewart, Penelope Cruz lands in 6th place, Jennifer Hudson, and then Rachel Zegler from West Side Story, and then Alana Haim from Licorice Pizza, and then Frances McDormand from Macbeth.
That's not happening.
No, but it's a great lineup. I mean, it's just a great. I mean, what did you list? 10 names, and all of them deserve a nomination.
It's a good lineup of. I think it's a very tight race this year with actresses. I could see Alana Haim if Licorice Pizza continues to show the strength that it's showing everywhere now. She could be brought in if the actors go for it too. There's just too many. And I am convinced that Penelope Cruz, who is well liked by the Academy,
Absolutely.
this movie
He's been there before.
And
Yeah.
this movie is very well liked as they have been seeing it. That is, it's been
They could
growing.
catch up with it. It could be The Father. It could be the late breaking Sony
Yeah.
Pictures Classics movie,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
most recently viewed.
So,
so
Tom,
I
are you
think-
asking us who do we think is going to win?
Well, I think I'm asking you who narrow it down. Who's really the final 2 or 3 here?
God, let me see the final 5 before I get on the record here. I
That's
think it's
how I'm
wide
going
open.
to go too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a strong category. It's
A
too
lot
hard.
can change
A
Yeah.
lot
between
can
now
change.
and
A lot
Oscars.
will
all about-
change.
The Oscars are all about momentum
That's
at the
right.
time of voting. And this year, like we started at the beginning here saying, there's many new factors that are going into this race and continuing to go as we move into March in particular before the voting happens.
And the
So let's
governor's
see.
awards got pushed back. So the other, I was pushing back a bit when people were trying to convince me that Nicole Kidman was a lock to win.
I don't think a lock.
I think she's in there, but and she did a great job, an amazing job, and she's a popular actress, and she's working it, and there's all sorts of reasons why she's got a good wind in her sails, but that doesn't mean she's the front runner.
No,
you
I
could
don't
say
think
Lady Gaga is the front runner, but I refuse to believe that.
She's an Oscar winner already.
What do you think, Pete?
Well, I think
Lady
Lady Gaga, first of all, I have interviewed now maybe 3-4 times. Yeah, we're tight right now. And I got to say, she's really a good campaigner, because what she talks about is Lee Strasberg. And she talks about her acting ambitions. Long before she wanted to be in music, she trained for 10 years with the Lee Strasberg Institute. She's a method actress. She says all the actor buzzwords. And I also believe she means it. She's a very nice person too. I
interviewed her. I had a great interview with her. I really enjoyed
like her
it.
vibe.
She said all the same things to me, Pete.
Well, I'm sure that's what I'm saying. Of course, she goes out and says, she's a
She
good.
knows what she's doing. She's a pro.
Yeah.
She's a total pro. She's great.
She tries to convince you that she's giving you the real Gaga.
Yeah.
But she's totally fake.
Yeah. I'm not convinced. I think the general consensus is it's too early to announce a winner or even a front runner at this point.
Yeah.
But you can't discount
That's our
Lady Gaga
job,
because
Tim.
she's
Come on.
there.
Don't judge it with that way. Let's
I
talk
think
about.
you could do it in Best Actor. I think you could
Okay.
definitely put a front runner there.
All right, go for it.
I think it's Will Smith. I think it's been from day one.
It is.
I think that's true, but I also think Benedict Cumberbatch.
He's the one who could knock him out if anyone could.
Because also, he's a great actor, but he had a big year this year with
The Electrical Life of
Nobody saw the Electrical Life.
Electrical Life and wait, what did you say?
Spider-Man.
titles I can't remember. When I come up with them, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, Spider-Man. He was also in a terrific little movie that came out early this year called The Courier, which nobody also saw. But he is everywhere,
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield.
I know
People love Garfield.
Yeah.
Yes, he's absolutely beloved. He's playing the game. He's being so aw shucks about it all.
And they love Tick Tick Boom, by the way. The Academy people
That'll get into the top 10, I think.
Oh yeah, the guy that I had dinner with, the one that had not voted, he's putting it #1 on his.
Wow.
So one person I interviewed yesterday, and of course this is hardly a sampling.
Yeah.
Put Flea, because here's what's going on. I'm sure you guys are hearing the same thing. People are having trouble coming up with 10, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So if you've seen the foreign films, you're going to put a Hero and Flea and
Drive My Car
on there.
Right.
I'm not saying they're going to make it, but a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
What about Denzel in Macbeth? He really gave a surprising turn there. He embodied, he gave us someone, whereas as I watched it, I kept thinking Lady Macbeth, that is Frances McDormand in that role. But Denzel really showed his chops. Could that happen?
Yeah.
You mean a win or a
A
nomination?
win.
No,
But
not
he'll
a
get
win.
nominated.
I think he'll get nominated. Listen, I'm a huge fan of his, and I think his big disadvantage is that he makes everything look easy. People kind of take him for granted. It's like, he's going to be good. But it's like, kind of blows you away. And I think I loved Macbeth. I think not everybody did, but I think even the people who were iffy about it liked the performances. So I hope it makes.
That's going to end up in art direction and cinematography.
I think cinematography as well. Although I was just on a Zoom with Rita Moreno, and she brought up only one movie other than West Side Story, and that was Macbeth. She just out of the blue starts going, that was like incredible.
I think actors love Macbeth.
I think actors, that's exactly it. I think actors love it. It's Shakespeare, come on. So this is something that is probably very likely a nomination. I don't see him winning, though. I do not see that. I think Will Smith or Andrew Garfield or Benedict Cumberbatch, I think they're all ahead of it.
Yeah, I agree that those are the front.
Could Javier
Bardem could still get in.
I agree. Yeah,
he could be nominated. Yeah.
He's also in everything this year. Dune, The Boss,
It was odd that BAFTA put Leonardo DiCaprio on.
They liked Don't Look Up, clearly, but I can't tell again how everyone votes on best film there, and then there's a group of actors.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have put in DiCaprio. That's a sign of strength. They would have put in someone else. Like, let's see, let's just suggest.
Well, they put in Will.
Who did they put in that was
Will Smith.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to edit this out.
They had Benedict Cumberbatch. They had
the actor Graham from Boiling Point.
I haven't seen any of those movies, so I don't know.
Mahershala is who they put in.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
I don't see that happening.
No.
But he did play 2 roles.
And Adil Akhtar from Ali and Ava, which I have not seen.
No, that's not happening there. We'll see. But Peter Dinklage had a shot to get in there, and he didn't. People have talked about.
Cyrano doesn't seem to be getting any traction.
Yeah. I see Javier Bardem, I think, creeping into
the
this.
SAG nominee. Yeah. Being Ricardo's is going to make it into the top 10, I think.
It looks like it could. It looks like it could. And if it does, that's really beneficial for Nicole continuing on here.
That's why everybody got very excited about her, because they see some kind of correlation between Best Picture and winning Best Actress. But a lot of times, Best Actress comes out of some other place. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it doesn't. I think the one of the things working in her favor. I mean, is she terrific? But is the kind of surprise factor, because when she was cast, a lot of people thought, "Ooh, I don't know about this one," and I think she knocked it out of the park. But I want to ask you, but back to Leonardo DiCaprio and Don't Look Up, because I really liked the film because it takes chances. But I feel like people are really divided. I mean, it's like Adam McKay said, there's no middle ground. You either love it or you hate it.
It's a comedy, a satire even.
Yeah.
With a political message, which Adam McKay keeps insisting on sort of driving home, which I'm not sure is the best way to sell the movie. Honestly.
Yeah. It hasn't done well at Rotten Tomatoes.
But it's a huge hit on Netflix, though. Enormous.
I don't think it matters on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's a terrific movie. Very few directors these days do satire and do it as well as Adam McKay has consistently done it. I think that movie is important, and it's got a big star cast, which is why it's up for the Cast Award at SAG as well. Don't discount its nominations. I don't think it's a win here, but I could see Leo creeping into this. But
I could too.
Yeah,
he's a very popular actor, and I think he's actually really good in the movie.
Actually, he's great. He's the anchor, actually.
Absolutely, and he has his Howard Beale moment.
Let's talk about the movies that can win Best Picture. The Power of the Dog, we've all had, and you have it at number 1 now. I've had it there. I keep switching it around. Belfast has that tug of the heart that Green Book had, and others that just really hit you and knock you in the stomach and take, as my mother used to say, would take the wind out of you in a good way. And this is the Gold Derby ranking, then West Side Story, then King Richard, then Dune, Licorice Pizza, Coda, Don't Look Up, Tick Tick, and Macbeth, Drive My Car and Being the Ricardos are the top 12. Which of those movies can win?
The
Well,
first,
I think a lot of them. I mean, I think Power of the Dog could. Seriously, I feel like Coda could be the little engine that could, because I don't know anybody who didn't like that film.
And it's really hung in there all year at awards.
People love it, but I think King Richard is the one everybody loves.
Well, yeah,
Also. It could be the spotlight.
well, they love Belfast too. What do all of these
Some
movies?
love Belfast and some don't.
Yeah,
I
well,
would
what do
argue.
all these movies have in common? The ones we're
Emotion,
mentioning here. They're
family.
about family. They're about connection. They're about making you feel good. That's the theme you're going to see running through this. The Power of the Dog is none of those.
It has
But
all the crafts, and it's the
it's
best made movie.
It's the one that can benefit because it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's the one that can benefit what?
The others are going
because
to knock
it's
each
not
other out.
a feel-good movie. It's not a
It's the one
family
that's
kind of thing.
singular. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually think it could have a strong faction for it. And Jane Campion, I think, is a slam dunk to win
No
director
question. No question.
and
It's also
adapted.
the international voters and the European voters for Power
Yeah,
of the
so
Dog.
I do think Power of the Dog. I also think Belfast. And also, one thing to look for here, she can win adapted screenplay and director, but Best Picture is voted on in a different way. It's voted on preferential ballot. And that means your number 2 movie, your number 3 movie, what you like the most, the consensus for that can win. And that's why you could have a split. A real split here, I think, possibly.
So you're saying you think she will win for director, but Dog won't necessarily win.
It's not a slam. If she wins those two, normally you think, oh, it's going to
yeah.
get Best Picture and
Sometimes they go
cinematography.
together and sometimes they don't. Nomadland, they went together.
Yeah,
But last year there wasn't a whole lot. I sort of discount last year as an example of how the Oscars work. It was sort of a freak year. There wasn't.
Pete, I love your theory of, there is only one real art house movie with the pretension that they like in that top 5, and it's Power of the Dog, and that could really help.
Yeah, if you're splitting between all these movies, like Anne says King Richard's the one, someone else says Belfast is the one, someone else, you said Coda's the one. Well,
yeah.
It's an embarrassment of niceness there.
Yes, but Pete, if you do look at the categories, Coda and King Richard don't have the crafts. They don't have all of that.
Oh, no, they're
support.
not going to get the numbers there.
No,
And,
they're not going to get nearly as many nominations.
we'll see in the guilds. Belfast scored with the editors and with the cinematographers, which I thought was really interesting. That got in cinematography, which indicates they like it. They really like it. So
West Side Story missed cinematography.
and it missed at BAFTA in both those categories too.
But Power of the Dog missed art direction, which I found very strange. I think they
And
must
film
think of it as
editing
an
at BAFTA.
outdoor movie or
But
something.
now let me ask you, talking about below the line stuff, because Dune, I think, is going to win a lot of below the line.
Oh,
it's Mad Max. It's Mad Max. You're going to hear the name
good analogy.
But do you think it has a chance to win Best Picture?
Dune,
I
no.
doubt it.
It doesn't have
I
the
really
actors
think it's Mad
for one
Max.
thing.
I think it's Mad Max at this point. Yeah.
Which is not a bad place to be.
No, and also it's well known now that there's going to be a part 2. So maybe it's in a Lord of the Rings kind of position, where
Very similar situation.
Similar kind of thing. Yeah.
It's so beautifully made, and it'll win 5 or 6 or 7. It could win a lot.
It will. But I don't think, but momentum's everything, but I just don't see that Best Picture there right now. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Belfast is such a wonderful film, and it makes you just burst with all kinds of emotion. But does it feel important enough? Does it have the snob appeal that you need to win this award?
I want to see if Branagh gets nominated for
I know.
director.
I think that's a good
question mark for
question.
me.
I think you're right on with that. There's always going to be some shocker that someone's going to say, "Oh,
Well,
my
the actors, the hardest part is getting the nominations, like Ben Affleck getting shut out of.
Sometimes they go for it and they like and respect the
If-
person. I mean, he has a lot of bona fides
Yeah,
as a director,
that's a good point.
but in some ways he's more respected as a director. I don't know. He's gotten writing, directing. You know, he's all over
Well,
the place.
if he gets writing and picture, which I think he's going to get nominated for, that puts him 7 different categories for nominations in his career.
Wow.
7 different, which means George Clooney is now second place if that happens. And, you know, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you look at that.
So I need some indicator of where the Branagh factor comes in. You know,
Yeah.
I can't tell from the BAFTAs because
I can only tell you that he's out there and he's a very likable presence on the circuit this year and very visible. Yeah.
But the movie, I don't know how to explain it. This is just a gut feeling on my part. I know it's a crowd pleaser. It played beautifully at Telluride. And I know that a lot of people like it. It plays to the mainstream branches of the Academy, which is a strong thing for it. But I think the crafts are in and out. And I don't know that everybody loves it. I don't know how to explain that it has a weakness somewhere.
No, I agree. I mean, the people that I talk to, I mean, whenever I say, what did you love? They often don't mention Belfast. But if I say, what about Belfast? Oh yeah, I love that. But it's not necessarily the first in their mind. So I think that's why he's being so accessible, is to make sure it is at the front of their minds. I was a little surprised that it didn't do better in the BAFTA nominations, but you know, I'm still trying to look for logic in BAFTA nominations.
Yeah, I think it's too hard to do.
I'm doomed hard at it. Yeah.
BAFTA's turned itself into the Gotham Awards with these juries.
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
I understand why they're doing it. It just means it's less useful as a predicting device. That's all.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever, and if they just want to be a nice little British show, they're
trying to be more inclusive, and I support that. It's just that they're not useful to us.
let me run a what if by all of you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Disney got shut out of ensemble for West Side Story from the opinion of a lot of people is that screener went out to a lot of us SAG voters really, really late. And I
only just got my screener this week.
I know. And it was, but what if they had run things differently? What if they had pulled a Netflix or an Apple and they had really rolled out on Disney Plus, let's say at Christmas time, and they had every family in the world's TV sets tuned to West Side Story because remember, High School Musical, all of the musical is not dead, as the movie Judy has proven and some others. But if they had handled the marketing differently, and if they had used the streaming platform in a grandiose celebratory way, far earlier, it would be in a different position now, wouldn't it?
The Academy people still saw it.
They loved it too. Among a lot of Academy people that I've talked to, they bring this up, West Side Story. Some don't. When they don't say they're voting for it, the couple that I had dinner with on Sunday, both of them said the same thing. We thought it was good, but why should it be remade?
That's what I hear. A lot of people
they sort
feel
of missed
this
the
way.
point, and that's why should it be remade? That's what they're
Yeah.
the most
Because they have
honored,
such affection for the original movie.
which is the most honored musical in Oscar history. It's not just a musical that was remade. Now, this one I thought has a lot of pertinence for now and relevance.
I think you can remake it, and you should remake it, and I think you did a great job, but a lot of people believe that it should have been left alone.
Yeah, and that's it. So it's a mixed bag that I hear on West Side Story. They have been sending out the DVD because
Late, though, too late.
GA got it. I got it through WGA. I think I never know where I get these things.
No, the guilds got it before the CCA.
Yeah, and then I
people
got
did.
another one yesterday, which I think
I'm thinking that's Critics' Choice.
I think that must be Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
It was. That's the one I got.
But I have I have two questions. One question is, Pete, how you doing on time?
I just have a short amount of time left here.
Okay.
Okay, but I've seen a lot of analysts say that because Spider-Man did not get nominated by the Producers Guild, it has no chance with the Oscars. But it's a totally different voting group. Do you think it's dead in the water for Best?
The Oscars are the only group that got the link. And one of them called me up and said, can you write a story about the fact that it says FBI warning every 5 minutes in this movie? And I'm offended. I'm an Academy voter. I said, yeah, welcome to my club. At least you have your name blazed in the middle.
Are us.
Wow, yeah.
I would think No Time to Die would be ahead of Spider-Man if you were to look for something that has some evidence of support in some of the guilds, getting some nominations and maybe winding up on the top 10.
Yeah.
Look, even Amy Pascal, who produced it, thinks that they waited too long to make the screener available to Academy members. But they are the only group that we have that is different from everything else we're dealing with here that actually has the link that we're allowed to watch it digitally. If they saw it in theaters, it has a better shot because it's
not the kind of movie that they tend to nominate or to reward. And there's no evidence that there's any support for it on any level at any of the guilds.
Yes, I don't see it. I agree with Anne on this. I think it's a long shot. That vote in there has to be, I don't know where it's.
And they don't think like that. We want a blockbuster to be on
the
show. They don't think about that.
No, the Academy thinks that way.
Itself, because they're under pressure from ABC.
Don Hudson thinks that way.
Yeah, the Academy executives think, and the ABC executives think.
ABC, everyone would love that. And look, they hired a publicity firm late in the game to do this, and they did a good job. They got people out there. They put those Spider-Men together. They're getting those views, but I don't know that that's translating into votes. We'll see. Maybe we're going to be surprised. It's a good thing you brought it up, though, because we'll look stupid if suddenly Spider-Man is on there and we don't even mention it.
All right, I get the final question here. Licorice Pizza, is it overperforming or underperforming?
Over. It's doing really well.
It's strong. I think he wins adapted screenplay.
Well,
I mean, original screenplay.
That's right.
Well, I think he could, because Paul Thomas Anderson has been nominated 8 times to date and not won anything. And if anyone's considered overdue, and that the Academy branches like the writers and the directors.
No, he's doing very well.
Certainly love him. Before we go, we didn't mention Drive My Car. If that's in Best Picture, then the critics have an influence still. That's what I would say about Drive My Car.
It won New York, it won National Society, it won LA.
Well, I think they do have an influence in terms of driving people to see a movie. It's a 3-hour movie and it's an art film. So I do hesitate to assume it's going to be a Best Picture contender. I think it could wind up in directing, as it did at BAFTA.
Yes, it will definitely get.
I think it will wind up in adapted screenplay. Yeah. I think it could get that.
And it could win international
film. But, when they look on their digital, I had a guy tell me this last week. He said, I know I got to watch Drive My Car, but every time I go to that little thing on our Academy site, it just says the name of the movie and the running time. And I just see that every time. And, that is the thing pulling this guy. He feels like he almost has to do it like eating spinach.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
And it is too bad because it's a wonderful movie.
If you're in a theater captured by it,
the first 45 minutes are the hardest to get through. It's like if you can get past those 45 minutes, because you're not quite sure where it's going. It's slow.
Do you know that
Chekhov?
40 minutes into it, the opening credits appear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I loved it.
People who actually see it love it. So it's just a question of getting them to see it.
Well, we'll see. All right. Well, there you go.
Okay.
Glad you brought it up.
All right, Pete, we'll let you go. We know you're on a short time leash here. Thank you, everybody. Let's reconvene after these confounding nominations come out, and maybe this race will make a little more sense. I hope so. I'm absolutely befuddled.
I'm waiting for anything in 2022 to make sense. So
Yeah. Exactly.
Right on.
Exactly.
let's
Okay.
go.
Bye. Love
Okay.
you guys.
Bye,
Nice
guys.
to see you all.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.